is shaping up to be one of the most complicated holiday weather patterns that we have seen in years. A significant stratospheric warming event is unfolding high above the Arctic right now, and that is already starting to disrupt the polar jet stream in ways we do not typically see this early in the year. When the stratosphere warms this rapidly, it weakens the polar vortex, and this opens the door for Arctic air, snow, and the chance of ice across the United States. That stratospheric warming is helping carve out a deeper trough over the western and central United States, and that is where things start to get messy. The West becomes a battleground for incoming waves of energy, with rain on the coast, heavy mountain snow in the Rockies, all fueled by a disrupted jet stream. As that energy slides to the east, warmer air surges up from the Gulf, creating a sharp temperature contrast that could ignite thunderstorms across parts of the plains and the South. But here is the thing. If the polar jet stream buckles down to the south, colder air spilling from Canada would raise the odds of snow or even ice in some areas across the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. This would set up a disruptive storm that would impact areas like Chicago, Milwaukee, and even Minneapolis. However, if the polar vortex stays a little farther north, the pattern flips towards a cleaner, drier Arctic blast, bringing sharp cold with far lower chances of meaningful snow or ice, and only scattered flurries at most. And for the East Coast, timing is going to be everything. If the jet stream dips farther south, we are looking at a stormier, colder Thanksgiving setup. If it stays a little tighter, rain and snow could be a possibility, and gusty winds are still very well on the table. The point is, Thanksgiving week's weather is going to all ride on the atmosphere and how it responds to the stratospheric warming event in the Arctic. So now, let us go more into detail about the day-by-day forecast on what we can expect throughout the entire Thanksgiving week, and who is going to see snow, who is going to see rain, and who is going to see some brutal cold. Let us talk more about it. And I want to start out by talking about our weather pattern that is going to be impacting the United States throughout Thanksgiving week, as this is going to directly impact where we see snow, cold weather, and severe weather. So let us begin with what is happening over the weekend. This is going into Sunday and Monday. We will have a large storm system located across the desert southwest, and we are actually going to have a pretty favorable setup for at least scattered severe storms on Monday and Tuesday that will be primarily across parts of Oklahoma and Texas. So unfortunately, if you have any sort of Thanksgiving travel plans beginning on Monday or Tuesday, there could be some problems if you are back over in the southern plains. This storm system will continue to move to the east as we go into Monday and Tuesday, and we may see some showers and thunderstorms even as far north as Indiana, Ohio, and Illinois. But notice this other storm system back over in Montana late Monday. These two different storm systems are actually going to collide as we go into Tuesday. And what is going to happen is once these two merge, we are going to have a threat of showers and thunderstorms on the southern and eastern side of the storm system, which will be primarily across the Ohio Valley and the southeast. But on the northern side of the system, across the upper Midwest and the northern plains, there will be a threat of heavy snowfall. So we are going to be talking about some snow right before Thanksgiving, which could even cause some more travel concerns. By Wednesday and Thursday, this storm system is going to be sitting right over the Great Lakes, which means on Thanksgiving, some of you will be dealing with heavy snowfall. And we will talk more about that here in a moment. I think that is going to be primarily a concern across the Great Lakes, with lake effect snow going into play. The other big thing is as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, we are forecasting a huge dip in our jet stream, as we alluded to a couple of minutes ago. And this is going to bring Arctic air out of Canada. So many of you are going to have a very cold Thanksgiving, especially if you are in the Midwest or the northern plains. If you are in the Ohio Valley, Northeast, or really anywhere back through the southern plains, this is kind of a wild card area as of right now. And that is mainly due to the fact that this is an area that we do not exactly know how far our jet stream is going to dip down to the south, and if it will be in time for Thanksgiving Day. But even if you do not feel the impacts on Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday and even into the weekend are likely going to be cold, especially in the Ohio Valley in the Northeast. And then during the first week of December, that looks like a pretty active period in the United States, where we will at least have one big storm system and more than likely another couple of shots of cold air. Now let us switch gears and talk more about the rain, the snow, and even the potential for severe weather that we are going to have throughout Thanksgiving week. And one of the nice things that many of you are going to be happy about is that snow is a possibility. This includes the risk of heavy snow. And so anytime really during Thanksgiving week, this will be primarily around Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday. We at least have a slight risk of heavy snowfall, which means at least a 20% chance. That includes much of the Midwest, including Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Chicago, and Detroit. And then we have moderate risks in place, which are about a 50% chance. That is across the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, also western New York, and as well as northwestern Pennsylvania near Lake Erie. And that would be because of lake effect snow bands that would be in play. And even across the Rockies, we also have a slight risk of snowfall, and that would be again on the heavier side of things, anywhere from Colorado back into Montana and Idaho. So some good news for those that love winter. It is coming at a great time where a lot of you will have time off. Now, we have a lot more to talk about in this forecast. Now let us go into more detail with our future radar for the next 7 days, beginning with what is happening this weekend for Saturday and Sunday. We will have some showers out there mainly along the East Coast, a little bit of snowfall across the upper Midwest, but nothing to really write home about here. Just some flurries, very light snow, late Saturday and early Sunday. By late Sunday and Monday, we are going to have a big storm system coming across the southern plains. This is going to be our big story to start the week. So if you have any travel plans, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, this is what you need to watch for, because we are going to have some severe weather potential across Oklahoma and Texas on Sunday and Monday. We will also have a threat of some snowfall across parts of Colorado, and Denver might see its first snow of the season, late Sunday and early Monday. And that is very late, by the way, for any sort of fall season. We usually see snow way earlier than this for Denver. We are over 1 month behind schedule for Denver right now. By the early portion of next week, around Monday and Tuesday, we will continue to see the threat of at least some showers and thunderstorms. Even a risk of severe weather cannot be ruled out Monday across Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana. And then Tuesday, that is when these two storm systems are going to merge. So we are going to have one Alberta Clipper, and then we will have a storm system coming out of the Pacific. And these will merge on Tuesday, creating basically this large storm system. It is not going to be bringing a whole lot of a winter storm aspect or even a significant severe weather outbreak, but it is going to be large enough to the point where we are going to have multiple problems on our hands across the United States, including the threat of higher wind speeds. And that is going to really be true where our isobars are really close together. So you can see these really tight isobars in the northern plains. That essentially means we will have some high winds in this area on Tuesday. This could cause some problems for any aviation travelers as well. And the same thing goes back over here in the Ohio Valley. While that is happening, we could still see some strong severe storms on Tuesday across the Ohio Valley and the Dixie Alley. And then snowfall will start to ramp up back over in the far northern plains on Tuesday. Then, as we head later into Tuesday, That storm system is just going to keep swirling around the northern United States. We're going to see some lingering rain along the east coast, while snow continues to fall across the far northern plains, with most of it being on the light to moderate side. The heaviest of that snowfall is really going to be hammering parts of Saskatchewan and Alberta on Tuesday. Then, rolling into Wednesday, we'll be keeping a close eye on a bit more snow across Minnesota, North Dakota, and even northern Wisconsin, while showers and thunderstorms just keep going across the brink. Southeast, even on Wednesday. So, unfortunately, if you're planning on traveling next Wednesday, it really looks like we're in for a pretty busy weather pattern down here in the southeast. And then by Thursday, folks, the northeast is going to be an absolute mess. It does not look like good for Thursday's weather anywhere in New England. You're basically looking at a full day of rain. Now, that's the forecast for now, and things could shift, but this has been the consistent trend for several days, pointing towards a very wet and soggy Wednesday and Thursday across New England. At the same time, snow is going to start ramping up over Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, which can only mean one thing: lake effect snow is coming into play. That means heavy bands of snow are a real possibility during Thanksgiving and into Black Friday, which could definitely throw a wrench in your Black Friday shopping plans. Meanwhile, the Pacific Northwest will be dealing with its own set of issues, with heavy snow in the higher elevations and some serious rainfall along the west coast, including Oregon and Washington by Thursday night, which once again means any outdoor Thanksgiving plans might be in jeopardy. Then, by Friday and Saturday, we'll continue to watch that snow across the Northeast, and after that, things get a lot more uncertain as we look toward next weekend and the start of the following week. Right now, the GFS model is hinting at a major storm system around the beginning of December, but we just don't know for sure what's going to happen that far out. Things could absolutely change, but at the very least, the big takeaway is that it is going to be a very active week for rain, thunderstorms, and snow. And it's definitely going to disrupt travel for many of you across the United States. Now, another huge change coming over the next 7 days will be the temperatures across the country. And these are our temperature anomalies. And to make it super easy, I put the numbers right on the map here so you can see exactly how far above or below average is going to be in your neck of the woods. So this weekend, we're seeing temperatures a whopping 10 to 20 degrees above average in the southeast and the northern plains, while New England is sitting right around average. But things are about to change as we head into early next week. We'll continue to see that really warm weather build across the Great Plains on Monday, with many areas soaring 15 to 20 degrees above average. Then on Tuesday and Wednesday, all of that warm air is going to get shoved to the east, and what that means is we're going to see cold air rush in on the backside of that large low-pressure system. That cold is going to fill in across the Rockies and the Pacific Northwest, with most areas ranging from about 5 to 15 degrees below average. And then late Wednesday and Thursday, a massive push of that cold air is going to drive right into the Midwest and the northern plains. Temperatures are going to plummet by as much as 20 to 30 degrees in just 24 hours. So yeah, it's going to cool down incredibly fast as a strong cold front plows its way through. And that will dive down into areas like the southern plains as well. Many spots there will drop by as much as 5 to 10 degrees below average. Then by late Thursday and into Friday, what looks to be the coldest period is actually going to land right on Thanksgiving Day. And that is when most of the Midwest and the Ohio Valley and the northern plains will be sitting about 5 to 10 degrees below average for their temperatures. So, all in all, we are not talking about a severe blast of cold air like we saw earlier this month, where some places were more than 30 degrees below average. But even so, it is going to be pretty chilly out there for this Thanksgiving, It's definitely shaping up to be below average for a large part of the United States, and by Saturday, we could even see areas in the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic dip down to 15 degrees below average. Now, where things get really interesting is by early December, we could be looking at an actual Arctic blast, and I mean a true one, with temperatures plunging 30 to 40 degrees below average. That is a definite possibility during the first week of December. It's a bit too early to nail down exactly when or where that will happen and all that good stuff. But I do think we're going to see some seriously cold air during the first couple of weeks of December. So you'll definitely want to buckle up for that. And here's an early preview of our high temperatures for Thanksgiving Day. It is going to be chilly out there, so make sure you bundle up. And if you're bringing any turkeys inside, make sure they stay warm too. And as always, thank you all so much for watching today's forecast. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Also, make sure to check out today's sponsor, Chime. They are the top link in the description below. I really want to thank them for sponsoring today's forecast, and I appreciate all the amazing sponsors that we have on this channel. It would not be possible to do what we do here without every single one of them. And again, thank you all so much for watching. We will see you all again in the next video.